This is Lacy Robertson, the hardest working woman in mortgage and real estate nationwide, and I'm here to bring you this week's report of California companies that will be laying off a significant amount of workforce where we received and processed their notice between November 6, 2025 and November 17, 2025. Now, if you're new to me, before I ask you to like, subscribe, follow, comment, you're probably wondering, okay, mortgage and real estate, why do you share this information week after week? Well, I'm glad you asked because guess what? I have an answer. So, as many years ago, I was super excited. I was getting ready to purchase a piece of property. The seller was excited. They were getting ready to get the proceeds from the sale of their property. I had signed loan documents. And you know, if you've ever purchased a piece of property, when you sign loan documents, there's no rescission period, unlike a refinance. You got 3 days to read over the paperwork and kind of think about, do you still want to move forward? So, anyways, I had signed loan documents. I go back to work and I find out hours later that myself and 399 other people were getting laid off that day. No warning, no nothing. You can only imagine what was going on in my mind. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't have a job. I can't buy this house. I'm going to pay a mortgage. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Yes, I did all of that. Promise you. I got my paper saying that my services are no longer needed. I was getting laid off. I immediately called my mortgage broker, my real estate broker at the time. I faxed them over the paperwork. I know, you know, it's a long time ago. We hardly fax anything these days. So much is just emailed. So yes, I did. I faxed over the information, and thankfully I was able to unravel the transaction. I was able to not have to buy the house. But guess what? I lost money in the process. I spent money on a deposit. I had my home inspection. I had my pest inspection. I didn't get that money back. You know, it wasn't the seller's fault or my fault that I got laid off. But I have removed all my contingencies. And so I wasn't entitled to my deposit back. So I say all that to say there's two reasons why I share this information. One, what would you do differently if there was a possibility that you might get laid off? Would you not buy that new house or new car? Would you not go on that shopping spree or lavish vacation? Would you dust off your resume, right? Kind of update it and put some fillers out there? Would you update your LinkedIn and all these search engine profile websites for looking for employment? Would you update and put some fillers out there and see who's hiring in your field? Would you start that new company that you always think about or write that new book? Like, what would you do differently if there was a possibility that you might get laid off? That's one of the reasons why I share the information. The second reason is I want you to know you don't have to lose your house just because you lost your job or you're facing a financial hardship. I've been helping clients for years lower their mortgage payment, make it more affordable so they don't have to exhaust all their savings trying to make the mortgage payment each month. So before I get started, I can show you better than I can tell you. So let me share with you what I was able to do for one of my clients. Yes, yes, yes. They were blessed. They called the hardest working woman in mortgage and real estate nationwide, and I delivered. Okay, I delivered. So this particular client, if you look on the right hand side, they have Bank of America. Their mortgage payment their previous mortgage payment, including principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, was $3,328.49. They called me. They had a loss of income. It was due to I think it was due to I'm trying to remember this client. Yes, it was just due to a loss of income from a job. And guess what? I was able to modify them. I got their payment down, including principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, to $2,479.57. I saved this homeowner. Yes, I did that. I saved this homeowner $848.92 a month. Now, would that help you? Like, if I saved you over $800 a month, would that be a blessing? How about saving you $500 a month? Listen, if you are facing a financial hardship, you're going to want to call 714-914-7254. I've been doing this. I've been in the mortgage and real estate industry for like 19 years. I help people buy property, sell property, finance property, refinance property. But guess what? When life deals them lemons, I help them make lemonade. Ding, 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 ding. Yes, I help them make lemonade and avoid foreclosure by any means necessary. Now, there's temporary options like a forbearance plan, but there's more permanent options like a refinance, a loan modification. Look, I am here to help you. So let me get started with this list. If you're new to me, I will give you the names of the companies that will be laying off. Again, this is where we received and processed their notice between November 6, 2025 and November 17, 2025. Now, I'm going to give you the names of the company in alphabetical order. I'm going to give you the date they're laying off. I'm going to let you know if that layoff is permanent, if it's temporary, if it's a closure. I'm going to let you know how many people, and guess what? I'm going to let you know the location. Unfortunately, I don't have the names of the people, but I'll let you know the address. So if you're at that company, at least you can kind of keep your eyes and your ears open, right? Now, if I get to a letter that passes the letter that your company starts with, but you kind of been hearing information, you're going to want to check previous videos that I recorded because I may have covered that company then. So let's get started. January 9th, we have ABVIE, ABBVIE. Hopefully I said that correctly. We have ABVIE. They're closing. They're laying off 48 people at 5996 Gleason Drive in Dublin. On January 9th, ABVIE is closing. They're laying off 9 people at 7041 Las Positas Road in Livermore. January 9th, ABVIE is closing. They're laying off 2 people at 4410 Rosewood Drive in Pleasanton. January 14th, Braga Fresh Foods LLC is closing. They're laying off 260 people at 121 Spreckles Boulevard, Building 10 in Salinas. You have December 31st, Coca-Cola Company. They're closing. They're laying off 45 people at 1201 Commerce Boulevard in American Canyon. January 12th, 2026. That sounds crazy to say. Couchbase is laying off permanently 48 people at 3155 Olson Drive, Suite 150 in San Jose. November 25th, Five Guys Operations Broadstone Marketplace. That's a long name. They're closing. They're laying off 16 people at 2750 East Bidwell Street in Folsom. January 16th, Gilead Sciences is laying off permanently 17 people at 4010 Ocean Ranch Boulevard in Oceanside. December 8th, some of you guys, this is your favorite store. Guess. Oh my goodness, guess. They are laying off. We're not sure if this is permanent, temporary, a closure. We're not sure yet, but they're laying off on December 8th, excuse me. Guess is laying off 100 people at 1444 South Alameda Street in Los Angeles. The next few entries for January 16th is for HRL Laboratories. So January 16th, HRL Laboratories is laying off permanently 7 remote positions. Most of those people are out in Malibu. Okay. January 16th, HRL Laboratories is laying off permanently 3 people at 741 Calle Piano in Camarillo. January 16th, HRL Laboratories is laying off permanently 4 people at 26800 Agora Road in Calabasas. January 16th, HRL Laboratories is laying off permanently 34 people at 311 in Malibu Canyon Drive in Malibu. And then January 16th, HRL Laboratories is laying off permanently 10 people at 3500 Willow Lane in Thousand Oaks. January 5th, 2026, of course. Illumina is laying off permanently 28 people at 5200 Illumina Way in San Diego. January 14th, International Paper is closing. They're laying off 128 people at 19615 South Susanna Road in Compton. January 12th, Lakeshore Learning Materials is closing. They're laying off 69 people at 2161 East Dominguez Street in Carson. And then January 12th, Lakeshore Learning Materials is closing. They're laying off 48 people at 2649 East Dominguez Street in Carson. January 12th, Mattel Inc. is laying off permanently 89 people at 333 Continental Boulevard in El Segundo. You have January 17th, Metler Toledo Rainin LLC is laying off permanently 89 people at 7500 Edgewater Drive in Oakland. January 16th, Middlebury Institute of International Studies at Monterey is closing. They're laying off 123 people at 460 Pierce Street in Monterey. December 22nd, National Distribution Centers is laying off. Not sure if this is permanent, temporary, but 17 people are going to be affected at 179 Grand Avenue in City of Industry. November 28th, NBC Universal. They are laying off permanently 4 people at 100 Universal City Plaza, building 2375 in Universal City. November 28th, NBC Universal is laying off permanently 101 people at 100 Universal City Plaza, building 1126 and 1440 in Universal City. And then November 28th, NBC Universal is laying off permanently 32 people at 100 Universal City Plaza, building 1280, 1320, 1360, and 4250 in Universal City. Just got a few more. January 13th, SLO Brewing Company, LLC, laying off permanently 61 people at 855 Aero Vista Place in San Luis Obispo. The last company for this week is Synopsys is laying off on January 12th. These are the next few entries. January 12th. My apologies. January 12th. Synopsys is laying off permanently 172 people at 675 Almanor Avenue in Sunnyvale. You have January 12th, Synopsys Inc. is laying off permanently 1 person at 800 North Mary Avenue in Sunnyvale. January 12th, Synopsys Inc. is laying off permanently 1 person at 770 North Mary Avenue in Sunnyvale. And last but not least, January 12th, Synopsys Inc. laying off permanently 1 person at 655 Palomar Avenue in Sunnyvale. That's the end of this week's list of California companies that will be laying off a significant amount of workforce where we received and processed their notice between November 6th and November 17th. Now remember, if you've had a loss of income due to a death, divorce, illness, injury, layoff, or natural disaster, I want you to call. Pick up the phone. Dial right now, 714-914-7254. I'm Lacy Robertson, the hardest working woman in mortgage and real estate nationwide. I look forward to working with you and for you. And until then, have a blessed day. Bye-bye.